Large crowds have attended the funeral in Bahrain of the protester found dead on Saturday. Police fired tear gas to disperse crowds and protesters threw petrol bombs. Well, our correspondent is on the line from Bahrain. We're not revealing his name for security reasons. Tell us a little bit about what you saw in today's disturbances, first of all.
Well, it was a very emotional event, Sammy, very emotional and very large indeed. I'd say there was about, at least 3,000 mourners who turned out for the funeral of Salah Habib, who's the protester whose body was found dead on Saturday on a roof in a village. Following protests, his body was found in the morning. It's believed that he died overnight. Now, the opposition forces here say that he was killed by the police, and I did see his body before it was buried, and there were what I could see as shotgun wounds to his side. So what I saw would seem to support that theory. The funeral itself was a large march going through the streets of one of Shia's more restive villages. And it was the protesters were chanting "Down, down, Hamid." That's the name of the king here. And then after it had finished, that's when the police moved in. That's when the youth started pulling up the paving stones in the streets and throwing them at the police, and the police responding with canisters of tear gas. I got caught up in that as everyone scattered and ran, and it was not very nice indeed, I have to say.
We've seen massive protests last year. How does the momentum look?
Well, the momentum is, I think, picking up pace, or at least it was before the Grand Prix, which was taking place this weekend. How much of that will carry on after the Grand Prix and after the associated media and the journalists and reporters who descended on the country for that event? I don't know. I mean, it's one of these things, when you speak to people here, they say, well, this is the situation, this is how it's been going for weeks and months before all the media arrived, and it will carry on doing this afterwards. They want change. Their government has paid a bit of lip service towards that change, but if you speak to the Shia protesters here, they say that they haven't actually seen any evidence that the reform that has been promised them has materialized in any way. And until they are satisfied that real changes are being made, they're calling for democracy, and many of them want the king to step down. Until they see those changes, then these protests, I think, will carry on going.
All right, thanks very much to our special correspondent from Bahrain.